Okay, guys, so today I wanted to talk about a missing person, um, Samantha Sayers. She actually graduated Fredonia State, which is quite close to my region. After that, she had moved out towards Seattle. I guess she liked to do a lot of hiking, and recently she did some hiking near the northern Cascades here, Washington State, Snohomish County. This is directly off NBC News. Um, you can read on, you know, this whole thing transpired around August 1st of this year, 2018, where she decided to go on a solo hike, and it even stated that, she often does this. The area in question where she went missing or disappeared is Vesper Peak. That's North Cascades. It says it's a route she's taken before, which is interesting. The article goes ahead and actually talks about her hometown, Girard, Pennsylvania, which is an hour from our location here. And Fredonia's, literally minutes away, where she graduated. It states here that the Snohomish County Sheriff's Office reports that more than a dozen agencies sent volunteers to search for Samantha. I know that they had been using helicopter, FLIR, boots on the ground, dogs, everything almost at their disposal. It'll go ahead and talk about, nearly 3 weeks of consistent looking. The authorities suspend their search on August 23rd. The Snohomish County Sheriff's Office reports that in those 3 weeks, the search operations included 357 hours for air operations, 105 hours for drone operations, 82 hours for the Marine units, and 329 hours for sheriff, SAR personnel, boots on the ground, searching. So this is some of the drone footage for the Sam Sayers search. This area is Vesper Peak area, Northern Cascades, Snohomish County. As you can see, the terrain is definitely not for the faint of heart. A lot of boulder fields. Definitely high peaks. Looks like some vertical walls. If you go to findsamsayers.com, you can actually view all of the drone footage that they've acquired so far. The search is still continuing with volunteers and family, but most of the authorities have suspended the search at this time, unfortunately. We're going to go ahead and let this roll out for a little bit, just so you can get an idea of the countryside here. This is a DJI drone, so it's very capable in this rugged terrain. It's a very handy tool. As you can see, it's very clear if there was you know, some clothing or articles or a person laying there, they would definitely be able to be seen. These boulder fields can get very treacherous to cross, especially with the snowpack. Gone ahead and grabbed another clip here. Most likely a little deviation from the last region that they're searching. It's definitely rugged wilderness, as you can see. But again, you would definitely see, you know, clothing or backpacks or a person for that matter. Very good footage. Very steep country. I believe the total hike is supposed to be roughly 7 miles in and out. Sam was an experienced hiker and knew the trail. Obviously felt comfortable going on a solo hike. So this is the website findsamsayers.com. This is Sam, obviously. You can, as of now, you can go to Facebook, find Sam Sayers. They've created a group here. Give you some of the details and what's going on. As of date, there's 28,695 members, 10,000 in the last 30 days. This was as of yesterday, that they just received word that the Snohomish County Sheriffs are planning basically a visual helicopter search. This is usually what happens when people pull together, you know, for a good cause. Okay, so first I'd like to, you know, give my condolences to the family. I hope everything works out. I hope they do find Sam. But for right now, I wanted to go over some of the maps that they share on their website here. So we can take a look. This would be your start time and head of the trail here, 9:50. I'm guessing that's AM, obviously. This is the yellow trail that comes down, comes straight across, comes up to Vesper Peak here. So bringing this a little closer, what they've shared is in the purple outline is some of the drone footage areas where they have searched with the drone. So what transpired, I guess she had been sighted by some Boy Scouts here, the first sighting. Then the second sighting was on the trail approximately 12:30, and I guess there's a videotape summiting here roughly an hour later. I know they've also stated here that they searched the mine areas, technical rock climb over here, so I don't know if that was actually searched. I'm guessing it was. But what really interested me here is you have a cell ping 2 and a cell ping 3, and here's your hours, that it was recorded. In between those two, you have blood on a rock from an unknown source. What I really wanted to do is delve into that. But before I get there, we're going to check another map. This map here, you can see the outer rings, usually the standard search areas here, where they found some older boot prints, and this red is the actual, most likely the trail that she took. So they've marked off likely areas, and these waterways and areas have also been searched. This map gives you a better idea of the actual searched areas. Let's bring that in. Here's Vesper Peak, cell ping, another cell ping. I don't know what that actual distance is right there, but you can see all the pink areas and shaded that they've searched, leaving this area open. The terrain looks pretty steep. You can see the national forest here that it heads down into. These areas have not been searched. They did search to the Copper Lake area. That's Copper Lake right here. As you can see, this map, they obviously gridded these sections off that they've searched. It's definitely steep country, and you can tell by the topo lines here. But I've always told people, don't discredit some of the areas that you believe a person would not be, because a lot of times they end up in the craziest places. So referring back to the map here, now we've all heard of missing 411 and certain things like that. This area does have large granite or boulder fields. With an experienced hiker like this, I don't understand what the motive would be to make it to your peak or your summit and then head this direction. Why not just go back the same way that you had come? In a way, it would lead me to believe that she either thought she could go across this snowfield, or must have been at the peak here and seen maybe the Salton River down below, and thought, hey, maybe I can hike to Stony Creek or Salton River, because the peak is quite high, and I'm guessing that the views are spectacular. But being an experienced hiker, maybe she wanted a challenge, or maybe something forced her to go in this direction. And with blood being on the rock here from an unknown source, I'm sure they're going to get that tested to see what the situation was. But you can definitely see she headed in this direction, which would most likely be, I'd say, southwest, to make that determination. What I found intriguing is that on this map, or on the search maps, they have not searched this area here. That's what it looks like as far as from what I can see here. This has not been searched. Maybe they figured if she wandered into that, she'd find this pathway or this old timber cut or gas well or whatever that is, and she would have made it right to the river. So maybe that's why they didn't get into that area. But if you really take a look here, I had flipped the map upside down earlier. The direction she seems to be heading, if you look at this cut right here, it seems to flow up right through here. And obviously from this peak, she could see probably, you know, the forested area here, and maybe thought she could make camp over here, or was going to try to swing around, you know, swing around and try to get down low or something, but that really doesn't make sense. To me, it almost seems like this person, this is speculation, is running or disoriented to be heading this direction. The only thing I really thought of was on the way in, this creek here, which is Vesper Creek, is actually crossed. I know there's a few creeks and a lot of tree roots and boulder fields and so on and so forth, but maybe, just maybe, when she headed this direction, she thought Stony Creek was actually Vesper Creek. So if we took that in the perspective, and she was heading in this direction, so if you flip that around and she thought she was heading in this direction, you know, Vesper Lake would be on her left, and she knew that, but coming in it would be on her right. So if she came down in and thought this was the, you know, Vesper Creek, she could have headed off into this region, taking a hard right to cross the creek, where she had crossed the creek before, thinking that, which would put her, you know, could potentially put her off into this area, which I didn't see on the original map that was searched. Let's take a look. Yeah, and if you reference that, there was the cell ping where she would have came down, where they obviously did search that, some of that crest line that I was talking about. But if she did head off in this direction, none of this has been searched. None of this has been searched. They are currently doing, you know, drone recon, but we'll go back to the other map. So again, in reference, they did search, you know, through this cut, and they most likely figured if Sam made it from here to here, she would, you know, end up coming out to this river. But what baffles me is you're surrounded by rivers, creeks, almost on, you know, three sides. Inevitably, over the last month, she should have run across one of these, which she could have, you know, easily followed out to civilization. You know, and sending my condolences to the family. And nobody wants to think that something awful has happened, but some things just aren't making sense here. Things aren't adding up. You know, from this ping to this ping where you find blood, and somebody heading in a totally opposite direction, something here happened. You know, with other people on the trail, seeing her, you know, videos being recorded, I'm pretty sure it wasn't like, you know, somebody that was kidnapping her or anything like that. Something happened in this area, where she obviously seems disoriented, to head in a total opposite direction. So I went ahead and pulled it up on Google here. That's Vesper Peak right here. Let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit. Obviously, this must be Copper Lake. This is the region that everybody usually, you know, walks. You can see by the amount of photos that were taken on these trails or roads. And this is what they had labeled as her coming in and coming this direction. And then she completely heads, you know, south-southwest. Although the area is vast, when somebody were to head south or southwest, inevitably, you know, there's roads here, there's accesses, there's rivers and creeks, obviously that lead down into this lake region here. In my opinion, not that it matters, but if it was me that was searching for a loved one or something like that, obviously you're going to go all out. I tell, you know, the people or anybody, you know, search where you think somebody would not be. You know, if she was heading straight south, she would have hit some access roads, or hit these areas where people have hiked before, which obviously shows that there's trails or some road access. But if you look over here, this area um, is vast. This area here, I mean, like I said, you're surrounded by creeks and rivers, and um, somehow, this is like Stony Creek in this area over here. This, I would search some of this area. I mean, it's hard to say that when you're sitting behind a computer screen. I completely understand that. But I wish the authorities would have widened the search for Sam, maybe out in this area or this region here. I mean, with all the man hours and FLIR footage and helicopters, it's really unnerving that somebody this day and age can, just vanish or disappear. And why we're getting no more cell phone pings. Maybe the cell phone died or something along that nature. But a lot of these areas, you'd wonder if somebody did hit the creek bottom areas, or would follow it into a lake. It's just really disheartening. So here's an outshot of the whole area of Snohomish County, Vesper Peak. You know, within 30 days, if somebody, was able to stay hydrated and had some type of food. I know she did, pack things in with her. I don't know, obviously probably not enough. But if you take a look, 30 days, somebody could easily make it to some of these outlying areas. I know you'd have to go over some ranges and some difficult terrain, but for a decent or experienced hiker coming down through this area, I mean, that should take no longer than a week, to make it to the highway. What still baffles me, though, is why somebody would completely head in an opposite direction unless she thought she was on the correct path in. So unless there was some disoriented state, right here at the red cell ping, anybody would just head back, obviously, the way they came in. Down through the Boulder Field. And if you're on the peak, I'm sure you can see that. So could it have been just a mistake where somebody had, went that direction? I can't see that because A, experience, B, she's hiked the trail before, C, she didn't tell anybody, hey, I'm gonna, go ahead and push on and do some really hard climbing. And from this area here, it looks like snowfields. You'd be able to see that from the top, and when you start going down through that, that's a lot different terrain than basically when you came in. Unless she started to come back the same trail and just got disoriented or something happened. Hopefully she didn't fall or anything, but with the blood on the rock here, it's following that same trajectory. And here's the next thing that I couldn't understand with the cell ping being in this location here. I mean, you've got Stony Creek, which is right here. That could take you miles, but eventually you'd come across something or roads, within 30 days. Or I just don't understand why somebody would not follow the creek, or like I said, maybe she was trying to follow the same course in and out, and if you were to lay this course down through here, you would find the projected route that she would follow. Earlier I had stated about this creek here. So if you take a look, if Sam was traveling this direction, obviously she would break left a little bit and cross that creek. So if she did get just confused a bit and she came this direction and broke left and figured cross that creek, which she was thinking is this creek after that hike, you'd come to this point where then she would break a little right again, and if she broke right, it would take her back this direction. Do you see what I'm saying? The visual markers wouldn't be there while she was hiking, but maybe the course was plotted in her mind. Turn turn left a little bit, turn right a little bit, make a big, bend here. So let's break that down again. She comes down, she's going to break left, which is breaking left. She's going to walk across the creek. She's going to push on a little bit to maybe this region here, and then that's where it figures she's got to break right. Well, if she breaks right, that takes her right back into, the wood line here. And that would coincide with this wood line here. So, let's just look at it. If she made it to the wood line, she figures, all right, I have to break left again to make this long trek out. If she does that, she's going to head down into this region, where she's going to hit Stony Creek again, down through here, or possibly back up through here. That's where I would concentrate some of my search on. I was just trying to, when you're an experienced climber or outdoorsman, you try to you use markers, but you try to almost memorize the trail per se. And if she was trying to do that, I needed to go this way or this way or this way. If you take that and kind of just flip it and lay it this direction, you could see where she'd be headed. So, like I say, my condolences to the family. Keep searching, never give up. If there are any volunteers out there, or family, or experienced hikers, or people that can get into these areas, go to Find Sam Sayers. You can volunteer. You can get out there. You can put boots on the ground. If you have resources to donate, go ahead and do that. So we hope everything will be okay. And, I know it's been a long, hard month for them. Hopefully they never give up. Definitely the more people, the searching, the more people that know about this, the better. The more people that can get out there, bring it to an end before, winter. Hopefully she can be found alive.